Welcome to latest News Blaster. The world of neo-soul music was shaken to its core when news broke of D'Angelo's passing, the voice that defined a generation, silenced by a long and private battle with cancer. For years he had retreated from the spotlight, leaving fans wondering where the man behind Voodoo and Brown Sugar had gone. Yet behind the scenes, he was fighting not only his health, but also the ghosts of his past, including one name that would forever be tied to his heart: Angie Stone. Now, for the first time since his passing, Angie Stone has spoken out. In a raw and tear-filled confession, she revealed the truth about her final connection with D'Angelo, a phone call that almost happened, and words that will never be spoken again, a love that defined an era. Back in the 1990s, when neo-soul was blooming, D'Angelo and Angie Stone became the genre's most celebrated couple. Their collaboration was more than musical, it was spiritual. Their voices blended effortlessly, their chemistry palpable both in the studio and on stage. Together, they embodied the soul revival movement that brought emotional honesty and raw artistry back to R&B. Their love story was not without its struggles. Fame, temptation, and personal demons pulled them apart, but they remained connected by one unbreakable bond: their son, Michael D'Angelo Archer II, and a shared understanding of what it meant to pour one's soul into music. Angie once described their connection as a vibration that could never die, and even years after their breakup, she never truly closed that chapter. The silent years, and D'Angelo's retreat. After the critical success of Voodoo in 2000, D'Angelo vanished from the public eye. Fans speculated endlessly: addiction, depression, creative burnout, spiritual crisis, but few knew the real story. According to Angie, those years were filled with isolation and pain. In her confession, Angie said softly, "People thought he was just being difficult or mysterious. But the truth is, he was broken. He carried the weight of expectations, fame, and his own self-doubt. He wanted to make something pure, something that would last forever. And that kind of pressure can destroy a person." Behind closed doors, D'Angelo battled with inner darkness. His friends described him as deeply introspective, spiritual, and sensitive to the world around him, qualities that made him a genius, but also made life heavier. Angie tried to reach out many times, but the distance grew. The accident that changed everything. Just months before D'Angelo's health began to deteriorate rapidly, Angie Stone herself was involved in a frightening car accident. The incident left her shaken but alive, a moment she now calls a warning from God. "I remember thinking," she said, "life is fragile, I need to make peace with everyone I love." One of those people was But before she could reach out, D'Angelo's condition worsened. He had been privately undergoing cancer treatment, refusing to make it public. According to close friends, he didn't want sympathy. He wanted to be remembered for his music, not his illness. Still, word somehow reached Angie that D was unwell. That's when everything changed. "He tried to call me," Angie's tearful revelation. In her emotional interview, Angie recalled the moment she learned that D'Angelo had tried to reach her one final time. She paused for a long moment before speaking, her voice trembling. "Oh, they told me he tried to call me the night before he passed, but I missed it. I don't know what he wanted to say, but I feel it in my soul every single day." Tears welled in her eyes as she continued. "I think he wanted peace. I think he wanted to tell me he forgave me. Or maybe he wanted to say goodbye. Either way, that missed call will haunt me for the rest of my life." For Angie, those words reopened old wounds. Despite their separation, she had always held a quiet space for him in her heart. They had a complicated history, a love that burned bright, then faded, but never truly died. The legacy they built together. D'Angelo's passing has sparked an outpouring of grief from fans and musicians alike. Artists such as Erykah Badu, Questlove, and Maxwell shared emotional tributes online, calling him the soul of a generation. But no tribute was as personal as Angie Stone's. She shared a black and white photo of the two of them from the Brown Sugar era with a simple caption, "A bruh, forever in rhythm, forever in spirit." Angie's confession revealed more than grief. It was closure. In her own words, "Ibraka. We made music that came from pain and passion. We fought, we cried, we loved, and all of that became songs people still sing today. I think that's how God wanted it to be. I just wish I could have told him one last time how proud I am." D'Angelo's final days. Sources close to D'Angelo say that in his final months, he returned to his first love, music. Even while battling cancer, he recorded fragments of melodies and journaled lyrics that have yet to be released. "He was always creating," said one producer, who worked with him briefly in those final years. "Even when his hands were trembling, he'd sit at the piano and lose himself in the sound. It was his therapy." D'Angelo reportedly spoke about redemption, forgiveness, and peace. He wanted to reconcile with people from his past, and Angie was at the top of that list. Angie Stone. "I still feel him everywhere." In the weeks following D'Angelo's death, Angie said she's been surrounded by reminders of him. Songs playing randomly on the radio, old photos resurfacing online, even dreams that feel too vivid to ignore. "I believe he visits me," she whispered. "When I'm alone in the studio and I feel that vibration, that warmth, I know it's him. D never really left. His energy is still with me." Angie admitted she has begun working on a tribute song dedicated to him, describing it as a love letter across time. Fans are already waiting eagerly, knowing that whatever comes from her heart will carry the same soulful depth that defined their shared legacy. The fans' reaction. Global mourning for a neo-soul icon. Across social media, fans have been sharing emotional tributes, videos, and covers of D'Angelo's songs. From untitled "How Does It Feel" to "Really Love," his music continues to inspire generations of artists who credit him with redefining the sound of modern R&B. Many fans also expressed empathy for Angie Stone after her confession went viral. Comments flooded in. "That missed call broke me. You can hear the pain in her voice. Abra." Their story was real love, flawed but pure. I hope Angie finds peace. D'Angelo's spirit will live forever, remembering the genius of D'Angelo. D'Angelo's artistry was never about fame. It was about truth. He once said in an interview, "If my music doesn't touch the soul, it's not worth making." That philosophy made him one of the most influential musicians of his time. His sound fused gospel roots, jazz sophistication, funk grooves, and raw emotional honesty, a blend that became the foundation of the neo-soul era. Even in his absence, his influence lives on. Artists like her, Anderson .Paak, and Leon Bridges have all cited him as a key inspiration. Angie's final words to him. When asked what she would have said if she'd answered that call, Angie closed her eyes and took a deep breath before replying, "Berkey, I would have told him I forgive him. And I would have told him thank you for loving me, for giving me my son, and for giving the world music that will never die. I would have said, 'You did it, D. You made your mark.'" She wiped away tears before adding, "And I hope he knows I always loved him. Even when we weren't together. That kind of love doesn't fade. The music lives on." In the aftermath of D'Angelo's passing, his record label is reportedly working to release an unfinished collection of songs he recorded